the Ocean Life Park here in Genova, welcoming our fans and getting ready to welcome in our boats after this 2,200-mile leg to the grand finale. Welcome to the Ocean Race Show. Here in the Ocean Life Park, we have a fleet of legendary boats from the race's history getting together and starting their legendary regatta in a couple of days' time. But out on the waters of the Mediterranean, we have our legendary sailors neck and neck in the race to Genova. Our IMOCAs entered the Strait of Gibraltar on Thursday in the afternoon, and unlike the VO65s just ahead, chose to sail on the southern side of the exclusion zone, giving themselves more room for manoeuvres. A wise move, as the wind shifted to the east and they were forced to tack their way through multiple times. Team Holcim PRB was the first into the Mediterranean, but quickly sailed into a hole in the wind, parking up and drifting, while Bioterm took the lead to the north. When Benjamin Schwartz got Team Holcim PRB moving again, they were just behind Bioterm, but Team Milizia was ready to attack both, having set up further north and crossed ahead to become the new leader as the fleet converged. But their speed was lacking on the reach onto the Spanish coast, and soon Boris Herrmann's boat was back in third, struggling to match the pace of the others. But it wasn't poor sailing or low effort, gear failure had limited their sail choices while they repaired.
The sheet of the J2 snapped. We're about to do a peel to the J3 because there's quite some wind and the load got too big and the sheet snapped. But we were lucky that no one was in line. We had this in 2 legs ago and Nico got hit in the eye, so...
No injury for the crew, but damage done to their performance. And back in third, they hugged the Spanish coast with Bioterm, while Team Holcim PRB headed off south, breaking away and now leading the IMOCAs back north with a lead of over 20 miles.
Last night they hitched out to the right pretty hard, sailing really quick, and they've come back good ahead of us. But, probably not as far as they should have been, considering the average speed they were doing. But an interesting option from them. And us and Milizia played up the coastline, attacking, trying to make the most of the left-hand shift last night, which wasn't so simple. At times, Milizia managed to get into more of a left-hand shift and worked up inside of us, which is always worrying. But, now we've got the right-hand shift, it's come pretty good for us. We've caught back up the Volvo fleet, which is interesting because they should be quite a bit quicker than us. And yeah, other than that, it's been a beautiful sunrise this morning. The sea's flat, and we know we've got a lot of work to do before the finish line.
Alan Roberts in the safety of the enclosed cockpits on Bioterm with the autopilot remote control system right within reach, ready to make those all-important adjustments. And what a difference we have when you compare the new to the old. This is New Zealand Endeavour. It won the race in 93-94. Grant Dalton was the skipper, and you couldn't be more exposed in this kind of boat. This was facing the waves head on. While you might be a bit more exposed on deck, down below, there's a lot more comfort. I mean, look at this galley. You could actually prepare something that would resemble a pretty tasty meal. You've got 4 cookers here. It's so different from what we see on the VO65s and our IMOCAs, but also just all around this boat, you can feel the echoes of a boat like this in the latest designs. For the VO65s, this view looks really familiar with the navigator back here and all the gear being shifted around, and our IMOCAs have just taken that one step further. The roofs are lower, everything's stripped down right to the minimum. You cannot go from an old boat to a new boat though without visiting the heads. And that gives you the best idea as to how far the sailors and the designers are pushing things now in terms of performance and limiting on sailor comfort. And this boat, New Zealand Endeavour, along with the rest of our historic fleet, which is amassed here in Genova, is going to take off on a Legends Regatta. And it's amazing to see these old boats sailing on the water, still performing, especially considering how much they've contributed to the history of the race. Now, you may have seen some incredible footage over the last couple of days of the VO65 fleet and Team Yayo coming into contact with some orcas off the southern coast of Spain. And I'm joined now by Lucy Hunt, a marine biologist working for the Ocean Race. Lucy, it was incredible footage. It was amazing to see, but what do we know about what the orcas were trying to do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery still. There's only one actual study done on it that was published last year. And really, they're still trying to figure it out. More money probably needs to go into research. But these animals, for the last 3 years, have been coming closer contact with boats. As they're passing the Gibraltar Straits, they seem to be interested in sailing boats.
Yeah.
Sailing boats with a spade rudder is what's coming out of the study. They seem to have more interest in that type of sailing boat. And at certain speeds, they will approach the boats, and then they'll get more inquisitive, and then they may start to bang the boat, you know, or ram the boat. And I suppose in 3 incidents, boats sank because of their interactions. And really, the research needs to be continued to understand what really is happening.
I've never come close to one. I mean, have you ever come close to one? Because on the screen, they look big, impressive.
Yes, yeah. So an orca can get up to 9 meters, but the ones that are in the Gibraltar Strait, they're a subpopulation, and they get around 6.5, 7 meters. And I have come across orca off the west coast of Africa and in Antarctica, and they are amazing animals. You know, you feel so privileged to actually get close to one of these. So I think for the people that are going through, you know, not all of the boats that are going through the Gibraltar Strait are having these more scary incidents. There's other boats that are passing through too, and the orca are there, you know, but not actually approaching them. So it is an amazing experience to see orca in the wild.
Whoa.
Oh God.
Dramatic scenes on the way to the Mediterranean, but now our 5 VO65s are through the Strait of Gibraltar. While Wind Whisper Racing Team had already completed nearly 200 miles of Mediterranean sailing, the other VO65s were just exiting the Strait of Gibraltar. Mirpuri Trifort Racing Team were in 2nd place, at the front of the chasing pack, but it wasn't by much. Viva Mexico had made up the miles with a turboed approach to Gibraltar, and now Eric Brockman was alongside Team Yayo with the 3 boats only a few miles apart. Perhaps the navigators all agreed on what the best route was, or maybe the teams lacked the confidence to break away, but along with Austrian Ocean Racing powered by Team Genova, the 4 VO65s stuck together, bouncing from south to north, while Wind Whisper Racing Team, out in front and sailing in different breeze to the south of the islands, stretched ahead. But inshore, there is always the option of sea breeze, something that the other boats were looking for.
So we went for the inshore option and going for the sea breeze. And as you can see around us, it's actually feeling really nice. The boats outside are slowly getting less and less breeze. So we were really happy with what we're doing here. And we were about to make big gains, at least we expected to. And now the masthead zero cable just broke. And we're trying to find a solution. Hopefully we find one. And otherwise it's going to be a very painful rest of the race.
Our VO65s and Moccas continue to push on to Genova. But behind them, 11th Hour Racing Team, delivering their boat to this finish line, is making good, steady progress. They'll be coming into the Strait of Gibraltar at the end of play today, and they should be arriving a day or maybe 2 days behind the rest of the fleet. Out in the water, in terms of positions, it's all about Wind Whisper Racing Team. In the VO65 class, they are the only boat that is doing over 10 knots of boat speed. And our 3 Moccas are being locked down by Team Holston PRB in the lead. But with the islands splitting the groups and the winds throwing up a lot of challenges for the navigators, the question is, who is going to arrive first into the grand finale?